Ready to level up your menu? Samazon's new organic scoopable acai is designed to fit perfectly into a 1/3 cold pan. Streamline your workflow, save counter space, and serve the world's best acai from the industry leader. Learn more at samazon.com/foodservice.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Takeaway with Sam Oches, a podcast from Nation's Restaurant News. I am Sam Oches, editor-in-chief here at NRN, and this is the show where I give you an all-access pass to the restaurant industry's most influential decision makers. This week, I'm talking with Tara Gilad, the co-founder and president of Vitality Bowls, a superfood franchise with more than 70 locations across 18 states. Vitality Bowls got its start back in 2011 when Tara and her husband Roy launched the brand as a response to the fact that their young daughter had food allergies and there were no restaurants that could really accommodate them. By offering a menu of superfood-forward bowls, smoothies, juices, panini, and more, Vitality Bowls has become an all-day solution not only for consumers with food allergies, but also for others looking for a fresh, delicious bite to eat. Tara joined the podcast to talk about the opportunities and challenges in developing a concept around ingredients that are more difficult to source and how they find the right franchisees to activate such a passion-driven business. In this interview, you will learn more about why your franchisees' passions should align with your own, why employees are as much order educators as they are order takers, and why brand founders must prioritize their own well-being ahead of their business. Jumping now into my interview with Vitality Bowls' Tara Gilad. Also, don't forget to stick around after the interview as I will share my 5 takeaways from this discussion, actionable insights that you can take with you on the go. Okay, sitting down with Tara Gilad, the co-founder and president of Vitality Bowls. Tara, thanks so much for taking some time today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Vitality Bowls, very excited to talk about this acai bowl concept that you started. And it's got a really wonderful history that I want you to explain because you guys had a need and you went out and addressed that need, turned into this very successful franchise. So tell me about the origins of this brand.
That's right. Yeah. Vitality Bowls is basically a superfood cafe, and we specialize in delicious and nutritious acai bowls and smoothies and grain bowls, paninis, wraps, juices, and so much more. We are a QSR. Our typical hours are 8 to 8 at most locations, and our cafes allow for customers to either dine in or take out. Some of our cafes have beautiful fireplaces and couches, and it's a little more cozy. But Vitality Bowls is a place where everyone can access clean, healthy ingredients that taste delicious. All of our locations focus on a strict allergy safety protocol as well, which is why we started. But currently we have about 71 locations open across 18 states, and we have many more in development and coming soon. And, you know, the reason behind Vitality Bowls is my daughter was born with severe life-threatening food allergies. And we quickly realized that restaurants weren't a safe place for her to eat. And that personal frustration and kind of awe at learning about allergies turned into an idea. And my husband and I just said, okay, let's create a restaurant focused on allergy-friendly meals in a healthy environment. And that's kind of how Vitality Bowls was born. You know, I grew up in a community focused on wellness. My parents were like, super extreme, dedicated to eating healthy and clean. And so I guess I just developed a deep appreciation for nutritious, clean foods, and that, you know, what we put into our bodies matters. And that kind of formed the foundation of Vitality Bowls.
No, it's great. I have a 9-month-old son who is now very allergic to eggs. And we have 2 older kids who don't have allergies at all. So we are now new to this world. And so it's sympathizing in just in that, you know, we never really realized how much stuff eggs are in until we had to start looking at labels. And sure enough, to your point, restaurants are a really sticky situation. Now, he's 9 months. So, of course, we just discovered this because we're just introducing him to food now. But, you know, we've been at a few restaurants where we had to ask the waiter to ask the chef, is there any egg in this? So can completely sympathize. And tell me about that. So take me back then to when it was formed, because what was the state of things? I mean, I think to your point, restaurants, I mean, for the longest time until relatively recently, I mean, allergens just weren't necessarily on their radar, right?
That's right. I mean, we couldn't go into any restaurant and know that they were following non-cross contact back in the kitchen and focused on, the major food allergies, right? And so we really kind of said, okay, this is not safe for her. We had a lot of incidences, right? Very scary, emergency situations. And so we just said, you know what, let's create a safe environment. There's so many people out there that have allergies, intolerances, or even preferences. So we cater to those even that just have preferences and want to eat gluten free or want to eat vegan or want to eat egg free, whatever it might be, we can kind of cater to those. And so that's really our mission moving forward, is to bring healthy food to all communities, but in an allergy safe manner.
And when you developed the concept, are you a chef, or how did you develop the menu?
Oh gosh, I probably shouldn't share too much. No, I do actually. I love to cook.
Okay.
I'm very into cooking and eating healthy and clean, and so that part was easy. But we literally had our friends over to the house, and we started just testing and creating these bowls. Acai bowls have been around for centuries. The
Mhm.
acai berry comes from Brazil, and we just started creating different menu items and paninis. And our friends would say, "Oh, that would be so good with peanut butter on it," or "That would be so good in a panini," or, a smoothie. And that's kind of how it morphed. Our menu was very small when we started. And now here we are 13 years later. We have a vast menu. We have a lot of wonderful offerings, and we also have a virtual brand. So it's kind of from conception to where we are now. But I'm very involved in R&D. I'm very involved in every new menu item, every ingredient. I have an incredible director of distribution and logistics that sources for us. And our goal is to find as many superfoods out there as we can and bring them to all of our locations in every community.
Define superfood for me, because that was a term I think was a little buzzy maybe 5 or 6 years ago,
Mhm.
fallen a little bit out as far as the mainstream conscious. But what is a superfood?
Yeah, a superfood it's kind of what it sounds like, right? It is a superfood. And it's usually the healthier ingredients that you can put in your body. And so, like, for example, the acai berry is ranked the number one superfood our planet has to offer. It's the healthiest food that our planet has to offer. And so that's kind of the basis behind most of our or menu items, is using the acai berry because it's such a powerful superfood.
When you opened, was the menu relatively fully fledged, or have you had to like develop that and expand it over the years?
We've totally developed it. I mean, we started and we had, I think, 6 bowls, 4 paninis, and maybe 4 or 5 smoothies.
Mm.
And now, we have grain bowls, we have wraps, we have multiple paninis, we have, I don't know, 8 or 9 bowls, 8 or 9 smoothies. We do fresh juicing. We bottle our own juices, smoothies, and shots now.
Mm.
So it's absolutely evolved. We have a kids menu, we have a dessert bowl. So definitely evolved over the years.
And is that based a lot on just customer feedback? How do you make those decisions to evolve like you're doing?
Yeah, we definitely listen to our customers, right? And we get a lot of emails and feedback. We also use technology where customers can give us feedback, which is wonderful. And so we also look at, our top sellers. We, run reports at the end of every year or during the year and see what are top sellers, what are low sellers. We also incorporate our marketing into determining what those top or low sellers are. And are they low sellers because we haven't done a good job marketing? Or are they low sellers because our customers aren't loving them? And so that's where we try to evolve and make sure, we started with, for example, just one panini with meat. Now we
Mm.
have the vegetarian option. Now we have tofu that are vegetarian. And so just being able to offer our customers a variety of items that fit their dietary needs or restrictions.
Yeah, especially curious just because, there was a trend in acai bowl concepts, obviously, that you've, I'm sure, watched very closely. And they tended to be, when they first started out, they had acai bowls, and then they started to
Mhm.
incorporate smoothies and juices. But you guys kind of got to this a little bit earlier. I mean, you guys were on top of that from the jump, that you knew like acai bowls alone are not going to be an occasion that people come frequently for. I assume you wanted a little bit more of a diverse menu that was rooted in that superfood rather than that one lane of menu items, the acai bowl, right? So I guess, if I could put that in question form, how did you really understand out of the gate, like that you needed to have a sort of full breadth of menu items to make this concept something that people wanted to come to maybe multiple times a week?
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, our friends, I have to give so much credit to them. We had them to our house. We're making bowls and smoothies, and my husband played basketball. And so we invited all of his basketball buddies over, and they're big, huge, gigantic, enormous men. And they're like, I need something hearty. I need something with meat. I give a sandwich. And so that's where we thought, okay, we need to pair savory, right, with our frozen menu items. And that's kind of how it was created. And there weren't any other superfood franchises out there when we started. And in many ways, we had to trailblaze our path, right? As we grew and we made a name for ourselves in the industry and our menu morphed. And now throughout the years, we've added more savory items because we know customers want that. And when we're in colder climate states, our franchisees' sales were dropping. And so we had to say, okay, we need to create a big savory line so those sales don't drop and they get us through those winter and those cold climate months. And that's really helped us as we've expanded that savory menu. And then it's allowed for customers to come in and everybody has something, right? A family comes in and maybe somebody wants a grain bowl, somebody wants a smoothie, somebody wants a panini, whatever it is, there's something for everybody. Or business professionals walk over together in a group. They're all happy because one can get a salad, one can, whatever it is that they want, they're able to get.
Yeah, it's not a narrow approach to the menu. And I imagine that helps all
Yeah,
day parts too, right? So you probably have a
for sure.
breakfast business, but then you must have a big lunch business.
Yeah, our lunch is definitely our biggest hours of the day for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. So getting into franchising, because obviously you must have known early on that franchising was right for you. I mean, you guys are again at 70 plus locations now. Why was franchising the route that you thought would be best for a concept like Vitality Bowls?
I know, crazy, right? To go down this road. So, my husband and I realized that to truly share our mission of health and wellness with as many people as possible, and that's our goal still today, we needed to expand beyond what we could do. When we started our first location, I was 5 months pregnant and my daughter was 19 months old. So I had to balance motherhood and entrepreneurship, which was really challenging in the beginning with small kids. And as we decided to open multiple locations, we had so many customers in other cities saying, please open in my community, please come here. And so we really looked at it and said, okay, franchising might be the perfect model to grow the brand while we're able to empower others to become business owners. So we love the idea of working with franchisees who were just as passionate about health and community as we were. And so it's been incredibly rewarding to watch them succeed while also bringing Vitality Bowls to new areas because just my husband and I, we couldn't do it. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be traveling all the time with young kids.
Right. Is there a level of, obviously you give up a level of control with franchising. So for something as important as superfoods and allergens, how are you able to ensure that in translating that to franchisees, that attention to detail, certainly, which is so important with all this, that consistency and quality, how are you able to ensure that was going to continue on through franchisees?
Yeah, it's so hard, right? Because on one hand, franchising allows us to grow Vitality Bowls while staying true to our mission of providing healthy, allergy safety, or friendly meals. And by partnering with franchisees who share that passion, we're putting so much trust in them while it allows us the opportunity to scale more effectively. And, we're able to leverage dedicated local entrepreneurs to create a strong network of cafes in new communities. It's really scary to put your trust in somebody else. And that was really hard in the beginning. And now we have so many measures in place and we have technology and we do inspections. And I have an incredible team that travels all over the country, and supports the franchisees. But we're also very cautious about who we bring into our system. And we're very upfront with the expectations and what is expected. And if they're not meeting those expectations, there's always an exit strategy, right? But right now we have some incredible franchisees. It's been a road where I would say it's more positive than negative, but you always have those couple that are tough and challenging and we learn from for sure. But overall, our entrepreneurs put their life savings sometimes into their stores. So they run it as if it's their home, right? They have that much personal touch and they really give a lot and dedicate a lot to each of their stores.
I imagine too, if they've come across Vitality Bowls, they must have the same kind of passion for healthier foods. Do you
Yeah.
find that much true that they're kind of in that same sort of bucket as you were when you first started this brand?
Oh, for sure. I mean, one of the things, we go through a whole vetting process before we, have anybody enter our Vitality Bowls family, right? And one of the things we really look for is passion and personality, but passion above all. We want those that are living a healthy lifestyle and share a passion for wellness and health and clean eating. And those are the type of entrepreneurs that we love bringing into our, franchise. And so many of them have helped us create new menu items. And our franchisees have such vast experience in terms of their backgrounds that we work with a lot of our franchisees super close, and they help us with R&D, they help us with marketing, they help us with technology. And we have like this open door where franchisees can get as involved as they want, or they don't have to be involved. But a lot of our franchisees really want to be involved in making some of the big decisions. And we don't make any big decisions without our franchisees.
Yeah. You mentioned marketing. I'm curious to unpack that a little bit because I imagine there are communities across the country that, of course, are so passionate about what they're putting in their bodies and paying attention to what they're putting into their bodies. But Vitality Bowls, obviously, you don't want to just tailor the brand to those people. You want to make sure you're bringing in all sorts of people. So with marketing, how do you both connect to that community that's looking for this kind of eating, but also to that person that doesn't even know they want Vitality Bowls, but you want them to understand that they'll love it?
That's right. I mean, it's kind of like you have to stay ahead in the healthy food industry, right? And so we try to stay ahead by continuously innovating new ideas or menu ideas or finding new superfoods, right? We're always looking at new superfoods, and we have a special of the month every month. So we're able to bring in new ingredients. So keeping it fresh and fun, right? We also have our new cold pressed juices available in many stores, not all yet. We're working on that right now so that we have more grab and go for customers. And we have this incredible, we just updated our whole tech stack, but one of the things we did is we enhanced our Vitality Bowls loyalty club. And so we're able to have better customer experiences through that. But we listen to our customers. We follow health trends, which is crucial, but we want to stay ahead of a health trend. And that is R&D, and that is being embedded in the health community, knowing what's out there, knowing what is in other countries. Most of our superfoods come from other countries. And, it's just by staying true to our mission of providing clean, nutritious food, I think is what sets us apart. And that's really hard sometimes to translate with a marketing department and through marketing. Hey, we're really the real deal. Hey, we're really healthy, right? That can be very hard. So I would say that's definitely always one of our challenges, is to market to our consumers that we are healthier than competitors and our ingredients are cleaner and healthier. And yes, might not know what an acai bowl is, but come in, or yes, our chicken is all sous vide and it's amazing and flavorful. That sometimes is hard to get through in marketing.
Yeah. So then I imagine you must have to rely on the franchisee and their connections in the community to do some of that marketing, right?
Yeah. And are just down to the team members, right? We always say, hey, you're not an order taker, you're an order educator. Educate every customer that comes in on our menu ingredients, educate why they're healthy, what they are. People have never heard of acerola or graviola, or camu or moringa, and so many of these incredible superfoods. They haven't heard of them. So explain to them, or they might not even know what an acai bowl is, or they might not know why our paninis, are $2 and, they're a higher ticket price, but it's because we offer really healthy meats and their quality. So educate. So again, we always say we're order educators.
I have to ask, what's camu?
I guess it's a superfood, right? It's just one of those healthy ingredients that give a lot of health benefits. We have so many. And that's also one of our challenges, right? Is training each one of our team members. So we have cheat sheets at the register. And, before they come in, we send them different menu ingredients so that they can read up on them and learn about them. Because the more our team knows, the more they're going to be able to educate our customer. And I think the more our customer understands how healthy we truly are and how amazing these superfoods really are, they're going to come in once, twice, three, four times a week. We have customers that come in 7 times a week. I mean, they're amazing. They come in every single day. And we track that through our loyalty club.
Well, that must, I think about all the various diets that I've tried over the years,
Yeah.
and obviously the most important part of a diet is your consistency, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you say I'll diet on Monday, Tuesday, but Wednesday I'm kind of give it up, it won't work. So you guys must be uniquely suited to that customer that's coming with heavy frequency because of the need to kind of it be a part of their diet. So you mentioned the loyalty club. Like, how do you capitalize on that community of people who are very intentional about this being a part of their lifestyle?
Yeah, our loyalty club is amazing and we reward them, right? Obviously, it's every certain amount you spend, certain rewards that you get. And we try to market our loyalty club, but our loyal customers know that it's there. They love the rewards and the benefits that they get. And at the end of the day, our food isn't only nutritious, but it's also delicious. So
Mhm.
that makes it a lot easier for customers to come in several times a week. And maybe one day they feel like a salad. Another day they feel like acai bowl. Another day they want a warm grain bowl because it's cold outside, So we really have so many different choices and options that they can choose from. We have great breakfast. Like
Mm.
we have these incredible breakfast wraps and we have like a whole egg bowl now through one of our virtual brands. And that's just been really great for customers. So we have something also for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So no matter what time of the day it is, Vitality Bowls is kind of that revolving door where customers are coming in for a healthy meal or just a snack or something in between a meal. We kind of have
Mhm.
something for everybody depending on what time of the day it is. And you can order our entire menu from the time we open to the time we close.
Oh, that's good. So then I imagine there are challenges inherent to this too, right? Especially with you talking about some of these superfoods that I've never heard of. Finding them all over the world. That's not your traditional. Let's just have Cisco roll up in a truck and provide that for you. There's something more to that. So I guess let's start there with supply chain. How do you ensure that this is something where your costs don't get too crazy, your supply to your franchisees all over the country doesn't get too crazy? How do you make that work for you?
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest challenges, right? And that's why most restaurants don't offer high quality ingredients because they're expensive. And so
Mhm.
they compromise on quality. And that's one thing that Vitality Bowls doesn't do is we're not going to compromise on quality. We're going to find the best ingredient and we're going to negotiate till we're blue in the face. And
Mhm.
we have an incredible director of supply chain and she is a shark. And while food costs have been rising in the country and at the grocery store, he's lowered our food costs. And she's that fantastic that it's really allowed our franchisees to offer such high quality ingredients while still making a nice profit, right?
Mhm.
And keeping our food costs where they need to be. So it is kind of that balance. And it's always been our challenge, but we also have economies of scale because we've grown and we have the power of numbers now with our vendors and supply chain.
Sure. What are some other challenges that have been kind of the harder things you've had to overcome over the course of Vitality Bowls?
Yeah, I think, expanding nationwide has been both exciting and challenging, right? I think some of the biggest challenges is just, again, maintaining that same high standards of quality and customer experience across all locations, especially as we move into new markets and either hiring new teams. And so, really, to address this, that's where we put those kind of really strong training programs in place and we've implemented enhanced operational measures to ensure consistency across our cafes. But I would say that's the hardest thing. Sometimes we'll show up to a location, we're like, oh my God, it's rare, but it happens. And so over the last, 13 years, we've experienced those times. But for the most part, our stores really maintain that high quality across all locations across 18 states at this point.
Wow. You said, you talk about the concept of, the menu, of course, that you have this great variety of menu options available. That's such an important part of the concept. But you said earlier, too, that you have fireplaces and it sounds like the ambiance of the stores it is also really important. And, when I think of the broader category of bowls, juices, and smoothies, I think of teeny tiny footprints that some of which have zero seating and they're thinking, oh, and we want to get you in and out This is about, getting that quick whatever. That's not the approach for Vitality Bowls. Why is it important that you guys have this ambiance that people want to stay around in?
Yeah, I mean, our stores are cool. They have a cool vibe, right? And we want that. We want every customer that comes in to kind of feel that cool vibe, to come into a warm environment if it's cold out, or a cool environment if it's hot out. And, we are very, very much a small footprint. Our sweet spot is right around 1,000 square feet. So
Okay.
it is a smaller lobby, which can be cozy. But some of our locations go up to 1,500, 1,700 square feet. They have more room, big tables. Some of our new locations, depending if they're in business districts, they want to have like a conference room area that can be rented out or used, or a party room. And so it's really looking at what does the franchisee want, right? And then of course, location, 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 right? And making sure it's the right location. If it's a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, we figure it out. We're in locations as small as 500 square feet, which is a challenge in itself, but we figured that out. We
Mm.
know how to organize and arrange a store. We know how to be cost effective in the build out. We know what equipment we need. We know our distribution is lined up so we can get more deliveries than maybe some other restaurants can, and that helps us with our smaller footprint locations because we can't accept large deliveries if we don't have the space to put it away. So it's a challenge, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, we want a nice vibe for customers to come in. We want it to be warm and inviting. We always say in order to work at Vitality Bowls, it's a requirement that you smile and greet every customer. And so just having somebody smile and greet you at the register is important. But also now with, the high demand of salaries and wages, and with COVID and all those changes, we've implemented kiosks in almost all of our locations. And so that challenge has come into play where it's like we don't have as much customer interface. We're not able to educate that customer enough. Some of our customers just love going to the kiosk and go right to it. And so we're not always greeting them and smiling and, talking to them. So that has kind of shifted, I would say, as we've kind of come into the last few years, but still trying to maintain that good customer interaction and just making sure every guest has a positive experience when they come in, while they're there, and then when they leave.
I imagine some of that can be dictated by location, right? Because if you have a location next to an office building and, a lot of people are in and out as fast as possible, they're just going to their office, perhaps less hospitality is okay. Perhaps letting them order through the kiosk is okay because they're more in a hurry versus the suburban location where people might want to sit and meet up with a friend.
That's right.
So all this considered, what's the real estate strategy? I mean, do you feel like it seems like the model's flexible enough to kind of go anywhere, but do you find that you have a sweet spot with that?
Yeah, I mean, really the model is success, right? Our only goal is to make sure that every franchisee is successful. And that really ultimately starts with the location. So finding the best location is one of the most important things we do right off the bat. Finding the right franchisee, and then finding the right location. And then of course, training that franchisee and setting them up for success with support and so forth. So it's really about working with local brokers. We have a master broker, having the franchisee be the expert in the market and identifying the right location on the right street, on the right corner, and the right shopping center, and just waiting, right? We don't push our franchisees to sign a location, sign a lease. You have to open on this scheduled date. We want our franchisees to find the best and the right location because we're in it for the long haul. And ultimately, we know that's what's going to help our franchisee achieve success in the long term.
Sure. All right. So you've mentioned a couple of times your virtual brands. Tell me about the virtual brand strategy.
Yeah, so super excited. We just launched our first virtual brand, Q4 of no, God, I feel like it's the end of the year, Q1 of this year. And it's been amazing. It's called Harvest Kitchen, and a virtual brand, basically meaning it's designed for online ordering and delivery, right? Which aligns with the growing demand for convenience. That's what customers want right now is convenience. And so Harvest Kitchen allowed us to innovate quickly and adapt to all of our customer preferences that we have gathered through our data and analytics. And without having the overhead of a physical storefront, right? We, instead of opening a new concept and getting more brick and mortar locations, we created a virtual brand. And what sets us apart from many other virtual brand concepts is Harvest Kitchen is a virtual brand, but it's not just a virtual brand. We kind of morphed it quickly because it can also be ordered in store. at any Vitality Bowls cafe. So our customers started coming in after we launched Harvest Kitchen and asking, hey, can I order off the Harvest Kitchen menu? I know you guys are affiliated. And so after so many customers coming in, we're like, oh my God, okay, let's get it in the POS. Let's get a menu. Let's test this. Let's see if this works. And so we quickly adapted and we made the entire menu available in store and through our online ordering platforms. And so it kind of just provides more access to savory, healthy meals to our Vitality Bowls customers who visit our stores or already go to our app. And it's more savory focused menu. So that again is really helping as we're getting into the colder months, having more savory options for all of our franchisees. And, I think overall virtual brands offer an incredible flexibility and opportunity for menu innovation. And it just really allowed us to explore new menu concepts and reach new customers that we didn't already have. Right. And it's an exciting space. It kind of opened up endless possibilities, more creativity from a culinary standpoint and more customer engagement and listening to them and providing our franchisees with more opportunity for a revenue stream coming in without having to expand.
Tell me about this though, because I mean, obviously, you could have housed all of that under Vitality Bowls. So you've really developed something new under a new brand. I guess tell me about maybe the advantages in putting this under a totally different brand, such as Harvest Kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest advantage is the cost savings to our franchise, right?
Mhm.
And so we're not having to open new locations. We're not having to invest in new signage. We already have a marketing team. We already have a corporate team. Everything falls under Vitality Bowls, right? And so all of the support, all the training documents, all the marketing material has been created for Harvest Kitchen with our existing team. And
Mhm.
so all of the franchisees benefit by having this whole new concept rolled out without them having to do anything, right? And we used a lot of our same menu ingredients. Obviously, our franchisees had to, print new menus and new training programs and train their team, but we did that all under the Vitality Bowls umbrella, which was a major cost savings to our entire franchise brand.
Well, I have to ask then. I mean, I think the virtual brands, the most fascinating component of virtual brands, from my perspective, was the ability to do market research and the ability to essentially use it as an incubator for new ideas. So I have to ask. I mean, do you see this as something where you've kind of given birth to this new baby brand, and it could grow and become its own thing, possibly even its own brick and mortar?
100%. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Right now, our goal is to provide our franchisees with more revenue stream and to provide our customers with more healthy, clean options and to obtain new customers that are looking for healthy options, but maybe haven't given Vitality Bowls a thought. And now they see Harvest Kitchen on a 3PD, or now they see Harvest Kitchen marketed through our loyalty app or just online or on Instagram or a social media channel. And they're like, oh, I've never tried Harvest Kitchen. I'll give it a shot. And so it just, hopefully, we're going to reach more customers and give more customers healthy meals that they can choose from.
Sure. Oh, that's great. That's very exciting. So Tara, I want to ask, pivot a little bit, but to ask about sort of you and your personal leadership. We have so many people who listen to this podcast who are founders, who are entrepreneurs, either early in the stages of growing their business or later in the stages of growing your business. But, you're several years into now growing this very successful business. You've grown to 70 plus locations. I'm just curious, what are some lessons you've picked up along the way as a mom who started a business for her daughter, as a strong entrepreneurial woman in an industry dominated by men?
Yeah.
What are the lessons you've brought with you along the way that you feel like really set you up for success now going into the future?
Yeah. I mean, after doing this for 13 years, I've definitely hit some bumps along the road. I think prioritizing my health is the most important thing to me right now because I didn't do that in the beginning.
Mhm.
And as a mom with young kids and being a businesswoman, my whole life was rocked. And, I've learned a lot that I have to take care of myself. I have to make sure that I stay healthy and I prioritize time for myself. Where before I would just book meetings all day, every day, and I would go and I'd be up till midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning on my computer and I'd be sleep deprived, and that didn't work. So I feel like just making sure that I take care of my body, I prioritize, physical activity and eating healthy and sleep and family time, and balancing family and businesses can be hard. I guess I would recommend to anybody getting into business and moms, right, who have small kids is really do your research. And if you're going to choose a franchise, which is a really good path for entrepreneurship because you get so much support, just ensure that the franchise aligns with your values and interests, right? If you find something that you're passionate about, I'm so passionate about health and nutrition and Vitality Bowls. It's so easy and fun for me to get up and go to work every day. So look for a business or a franchisor that provides good support, training, marketing, operational resources, right? And be prepared to work hard and invest in building relationships within your community. Your community will support you if you're bringing something great to that community. So I think, growing a successful business is hard work. It's also very rewarding. It can give moms a balance of flexibility because you can sometimes, in essence, create your own schedule. But I just would say choose something that you're passionate about because that enthusiasm will carry you through any challenges and it'll help you connect with your customers and your team. So I learned a lot of lessons along the way. I've also learned I don't love managing. I need a team that can manage. I love the creativity and the vision and the passion behind Vitality Bowls. And that's really where I thrive. I also work with my husband. And that is, can be challenging. And over the last 13 years, we've learned to work together, right? So I would say choose a partner that you trust, choose a partner that you has your back and you're going to work well together. My husband and I, fortunately, have different strengths and different weaknesses. So he handles the strengths that he has with the company, and I handle the strengths that I have for the company. So we're able to kind of divide and conquer. And that way we don't have to do it all and do everything. So sometimes having a partner can be very helpful and you can achieve more success that way.
That's great. I have spoken with a number of folks who have founded companies with their spouse, and I've told them all, I think my wife would murder me if we started competing. So,
It's hard.
yeah, I imagine so. Tara, before we wrap up, I do want to mention you are very generous. You have a very generous offer you want to extend to our listeners, and I want to give you a second to mention what that offer is before we wrap up.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, anybody interested in becoming a Vitality Bowls franchisee, we will give $1,000 off of the franchise fee. So really excited to share that with your listeners. They just need to mention the code takeaway or you, Sam, and we'll make sure that we get that to them.
That's great. And I believe that's email franchising@vitalitybowls.com. Is that right?
Yeah, they can email franchise@vitalitybowls.com or info@vitalitybowls.com, either one.
Excellent. Well, I really, really appreciate that, Tara. Thank you so much. And our audience appreciates that as well. Last question before I let you go. We are in December now. Your interview is one of the last of our takeaway interviews for 2024. Looking ahead to 2025, what can we expect from Vitality Bowls?
Big things. In 2025, our focus will continue to be on strategic growth, right? Like growing with the right entrepreneurs, entering the right new markets where there's a strong demand for healthy, allergy-friendly options. We are planning to expand our Harvest Kitchen virtual brand and continuously introduce, new menu items that align and evolve with wellness trends. We are currently working on I wouldn't say a whole new menu, but we will be rolling something out Q1, Q2 of next year, which we're really excited about. And, we just updated our entire tech stack Q4 of 2022. And so we're looking to continuously enhance and just keep our technology updated. We've seen what a difference that makes having all the latest and greatest technology. So I think ultimately in 2025, we're going to remain committed to our mission of providing nutritious, high quality meals while fostering strong franchise relationships. Our franchisees are our most important business partners, and our ultimate goal is to make sure that they're successful. And that's always going to be our focus every year, and it will be our focus for 2025.
It's very exciting. Can't wait to see what happens with Vitality Bowls in 2025. So Tara Gilad, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you.
That was my interview with Vitality Bowls' Tara Gilad. So what should you learn from this interview? Here are my 5 takeaways. My first takeaway is that your franchisee's passions should align with your own. something like a concept that is designed to serve customers who have food allergies, such as Vitality Bowls, or people who are just on a diet. This is obviously something that's very much embedded in their lifestyle. This is a very important part of their lives. Obviously, with food allergies, that is not something to mess around with because that's also a very important part of their livelihood. And for something like that, you have to be very passionate. Clearly, Tara and Roy are very passionate about this, and that's why Vitality Bowls is as successful as it is. But in finding franchisees, Tara explained, they had to find franchisees who are as passionate about it as they were. When it comes to franchising, of course, your owner operators, they're going to be the ones who are driving your menu in local communities. They're going to be the ones overseeing the execution of your quality sourcing, quality product. And when you have something like food allergies that are in the mix, you have to find those franchisees who are just as passionate about it because they're going to be as focused on the details, as focused on getting it right. Tara says their franchisees also help them with R&D. They provide a lot of feedback on what should be on the menu and what's working, what's not working. This is a great relationship. Your relationship with franchisees always should be like that, but especially with something that is as important as food allergies, superfoods, healthier menus. It's even more important that you find that franchisee who's going to execute at that high level. So find somebody not just who's going to write you a check so they can own your business, but somebody who is going to be as passionate as you are. My second takeaway is that in the healthy food segment, you need a crystal ball. Tara explained that with superfoods especially, they always have to be one step ahead of the game. You think about healthy foods and all the buzzwords that have come and gone, diets that have come and gone. Healthy foods tend to be very fad driven. Even though it's not a fad itself, healthy food really is going to be, of course, here to stay. But there are certain ingredients, certain menu platforms that will be fads. So for Tara, they have to be ahead of the game. They have to know what's coming down the pike, what's going to be popular in the next few years, what are the ingredients that are popular in other parts of the world. If they can do that, then they can keep, innovative and staying fresh with their menu. But of course, the whole problem too is that with superfoods, sourcing is extremely hard to get some of these ingredients from around the world. And so they've got to, again, look ahead, see what's going to become more popular, and then see how they can source that at the scale that Vitality Bowls operates at. So they need that crystal ball so they can look into the future and be able to do those things. My third takeaway is that employees are as much order educators as they are order takers. So I had to stop Tara and ask her about some of these superfood ingredients because I have never heard of them. But she explained that this is what makes order takers, their employees, that much more important and critical to being those who can educate on the ingredients and on the menu. Your employees should be set up for success for when the guests come in and they have questions about the menu. They want to know what they're going to order. They want to know what these ingredients are. Your employees have to know the answers to that. So consider your employees as those order educators who are familiar with the menu, familiar with the details of what's in the food, so that they can equip your guests to make the best decisions possible. My fourth takeaway is that virtual brands offer brick and mortars some flexibility and creativity. Yes, virtual brands, we're going to talk about them again. Of course, they were huge in 2020 and 2021. Virtual brands, we all thought they would be the future. Kind of disappeared from, they've disappeared from the narrative more than anything. They've been still around. What I really appreciated from Tara was how she explained how much virtual brands are not just something that they're doing for some extra revenue. They seem to think they're really embedded in the Vitality Bowls strategy. So they've developed this virtual brand called Harvest Kitchen. And she explained that, they use it to develop new products and they take guest feedback, develop new products, and then they can easily offer them through this virtual brand on the third-party marketplaces to gather more data, see what's working, what's not working, and see what might work for the Vitality Bowls menu. Essentially, virtual brands offer this opportunity to have kind of an incubator, and that's what they're using Harvest Kitchen as. I think it's really important to think about virtual brands in this capacity. How can you reach guests you haven't reached? How can you develop new menu items with maybe some less risk than you normally would have? And also for a mission-driven brand like Vitality Bowls that's so focused on one lane, How do you leverage virtual brands? Just kind of expand a little bit into other communities that might not be as familiar with what you're doing. All of those things can be done through virtual brands. So very strategic in how you can use those still. My fifth and final takeaway is that brand founders must prioritize their own well-being ahead of their business. I so appreciated Tara's perspective on this. As an entrepreneur, a strong woman entrepreneur in this industry, which I said in the interview, so dominated by men, it's a heavy lift. There's a lot that you have to do here to make this work. And the most important thing, as she said, was take care of yourself. Take care of your physical and mental well-being. If you can prioritize that, make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're eating and drinking properly. Make sure you have time to rest and reflect. Doing those things, you're setting your brand up for success. Your franchisees, your corporate team, you are going to be looking out for their best interests if you're looking out for your own best interests, at least as far as your well-being. Those are all my takeaways for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please remember to subscribe to Takeaway wherever you listen to podcasts and leave your feedback. You can also email me at sam.oches@informa.com. Thanks again, and talk to you next week.
Ready to level up your menu? Sam Oches' new organic scoopable acai is designed to fit perfectly into a 1/3 cold pan. Streamline your workflow, save counter space, and serve the world's best acai from the industry leader. Learn more at samazon.com/foodservice.